going to, with no further ado, turn it over to our fabulous presenters and introduce Allison Irk, Associate Director and Career Coach in the Center for Career and Professional Development, who is the liaison and coach to our graduate student population, and Christine Russell, Associate Director in the Center for Career and Professional Development and liaison and coach to our undergraduate students in the College of Business. So Allison and Christine, take it away. Thanks so much.
Good morning. Thank you for the introduction, Tierney. And thank you for having us. We're really excited to virtually be connecting with you today and sharing how to build your LinkedIn network and why it's important during this time and in all of your professional networking. So what we're going to cover today is simply going over, Allie, do you want to go to the next slide if you don't mind?
Yes, I just wanted to say thank you so much. We're very excited to be here.
I always jump right in. There's been many of emails that I've sent and I've had to say, oh wait, I'm sorry, how was your day going? I had a good weekend, so sorry, Allie.
And I should also maybe
so today we're going to cover reasons to use LinkedIn.
Oh, just feel free to use the chat, folks, as Allie and Christine are presenting. I'll do my best to moderate the chat and make sure that we're able to address any questions you may have at the end of the session.
So today we're just going to cover reasons to use LinkedIn, tips for creating a strong profile, ways to expand your connection, and there's actually some really great tips in here that you may have never known about, and strategies for engagement. So LinkedIn is an incredible opportunity for all of us. You know, we used to have Facebook, well, we still have Facebook where it was for personal connections. And now we have LinkedIn with 690 members worldwide, and there's 169 plus million just in the United States alone. So you have an opportunity to connect with all of these individuals in your industry, outside of your industry, who are doing things very similar to you, and connect with them and gain more knowledge into your profession. There are also 3 new members per second, and there's 50 million companies and millions of job postings online. So why use LinkedIn? You want to increase your visibility within your field. You want to network in your industry to expand connections and knowledge and tap into other connections as well. In the Lehigh alumni community alone, there's over 60,000 individuals that are part of it. You want to learn about and keep up with your connections. This gives you an opportunity to find out where are they now? What kind of positions did they go into? Maybe that would seem like a natural progression for you as well. And you can research companies and positions as well. So when you follow companies online, they can give you some understanding of what they're doing. What are some new things that they're rolling out within their companies? Or you could also learn a little bit about their company culture as well. So a strong profile matters. Your personal brand really defines you in the professional world. It attracts recruiters and provides more information to employers. Even for our students, they're allowed 1 page for a resume because of their experience, and LinkedIn isn't limited to that amount of space, so they're allowed to put extra projects on or link their e-portfolios where they don't have that opportunity in just a paper copy of a resume. And there are some factors that affect your visibility. So if you have a professional photo, it's 4 times more likely to get the views. When we're on campus, which hopefully that will be soon, we have professional photos around the same time as our Career Expo, which is the first couple of weeks of the semester. And we offer those at the Career Expo Prep or the Career Expo. So be on the lookout for an email for that. In the meantime, if you need a professional photo, just choose a plain background, put on a suit, and a picture with your phone will be just fine. And if you add your skills, that's 31 times a greater chance that someone will find you and send a message, because they can actually search for specific skills that they're targeting. Our colleague Andrea put together an incredible demo of LinkedIn, and we'd like to show you that now.
Hi everyone, this is Andrea. I'm from the Center for Career and Professional Development at Lehigh University, and I'm going to talk a little bit about LinkedIn today. So as you can see, I'm sharing my screen here to give you a view of my profile. I'm going to walk you through some of the information that's here, some of the most critical components, and where you should pay some attention to making edits and updates. Let's talk photos first. Background image here is an optional piece. You can also just keep the normal one that's up there, but I would say it's really important for you to have a headshot here. Whether this is a professional headshot or something you just took selfie style on your cell phone, it's fine. Either way, head and shoulders, nice close image of your face is there. It's very important to have in your profile. You can see right here underneath my name is what they call a headline. In my case, I list my current position because I'm a full-time employee. But if you are career switching, if you're currently job searching, or even if you're a student, I think this can be a helpful place to also list more broadly industries or positions of interest, maybe even where you're going next. I'm going to show you a couple other critical things here, but remember these little pencil icons is how you edit and update any of these sections. Updating a LinkedIn profile is going to be really important. What's true now is not going to be the most accurate information for the future, so consider coming back here as frequently as you need to make sure the information is updated. Right here is how you would update that headline. You can also include optionally with this little checkbox if you'd like to have other things like your education or location information included in that area. And the reason why this little snapshot, my face, my name, my headline is all critical is when you send a connection request on LinkedIn, this is the only view I see until I click your profile. So having some clarifying information about what you're doing or the industries you're interested in is helpful when you're connecting with a stranger. Another really important section is your about section. I think this is overlooked a lot of the time. I encourage you to put some important information here, some new information here. You'll notice the first 2 lines are visible unless you click the see more. So if someone is doing a quick screen of your profile and doesn't click this button, I want to make sure that the 2 lines that are here are both new information and the most important information from your about section. You're welcome to include a paragraph or 2 here if you'd like. It should be relatively brief, but this is a great place to put some clarifying information. So when I say new information, don't repeat your name, don't repeat your GPA or your major, your minor, don't tell me the current position that you're in. All that information is very easily accessible elsewhere in your profile. Instead, tell me things like why you're interested in that industry, some of the key reasons and motivations behind pursuing the career path that you're on. Even next career steps are really helpful clarifying information. I talk a lot in mine about the things I enjoy most about my work, and I summarize my 11 years of working within the career services area and some of the key areas that I want to keep working in. Both these featured posts, and then you'll see down here activity, are from when I've posted on the home screen to LinkedIn, sharing links, commenting on other people's posts, sharing blogs in my case. That gets automatically pulled over. I can edit what's featured from my page, but your activity is literally just things that you've done here on LinkedIn outside of your page. Of course, the experience section and later on your education section down here are also really important. Please make sure that you have tons of great details, just like your resume. We talk about the resume for most people is a 1-page limitation, but on LinkedIn, you have unlimited space to expand on details, elaborate on your experiences and your responsibilities. Tell me more about what you did, the skills that you learned in those roles. Quantify when you can. You can see my example right here. I talk about the number of students I work with and how many different majors that I work with. That's an important way of not just saying I work with arts and science students, but here is the quantity of those. I can also include what they call media. And again, click that little pencil icon. I'll show you where you edit information so that as you're in a current position and you get new responsibilities, your job changes, you add training or details, you can come back here and edit these descriptions anytime. As an example as well, if I scroll a little further, you'll see this section down here that says media, upload or link. This is a place for you to really represent a 3D version of you. So if you can link to online articles or journals or publications, if you'd like to share photographs, videos, PowerPoints, anything like that that can be shared to show more details of your work or the work itself, that's what the media uploads are here for. So I encourage you to consider making sure that you put all the details and show people details around some of the experiences that you've had. Of course, here in your education section, you can put information. Now, the order of these, like experience goes first and education is section, that's a fixed section on LinkedIn. It doesn't allow you to control that. But anytime you see these little 3 lines, that's a drag and drop. I can order them within this section in whatever order I want. For me, my master's degree is most important, so I listed that first. You can also see options to add volunteer things, even skills. All of these sections are available right here under the Add Profile section. This will give you a great big drop-down menu. And lots to do in here. An interesting thing, under Background is where you see your work experience and education. But if I scroll down under Accomplishments, I feel like it's tucked away a little bit. This is where you can list classes that you've taken, academic projects that you completed, honors and awards, test scores, languages, even your organizations, whether that's a professional organization, a campus club, all things like that can go into organizations if you want. Sometimes that involvement, though, is still better featured as a work experience. So it doesn't matter if you were paid or not, whether you decide to list it under work experience, volunteer, or organization, those are all options for putting some of the things outside of your full-time position that you've done. So I think that kind of gives you a great walkthrough of important things to do in your profile. Again, remembering that headline and that about section can be the most unique ways for people to get to know you. Let's take a quick minute and explore some of the other tools here. Right across the top, this is your menu, right? There's a very active jobs board here on LinkedIn where you can explore all sorts of types of positions. And one of the other things you can do is message people and even look at My Network. Your network is a place where that you can explore if people have sent you requests. They can give you suggestions on companies and people that they would recommend that you get in touch with. But I think this search bar is really, really important. I'm going to show you Lehigh University here. Look for our seal. This will take you to the Lehigh University page. A couple of cool tools that are here. You can click this alumni tool on the left side, and this will bring up everyone on LinkedIn who currently lists Lehigh as their alma mater, current students and past students. And then you can continue to sort by keywords like accountant or marketing or social media. You can also use some of the filters that they have built in, where they live, where they work. If you hit the next button, it also shows you what they do and what they studied. So if you'd like to find somebody else with your same major, you can literally just click the add button, type in any one of those. So if I'd like to look for communications, let's say graphic communications, it'll pull up all those alum right here, right underneath the page. So that's a fun one. And then also when you go to anyone's page, you're going to notice that it'll tell you if you can connect, if you have any people in common. Anyone who's the first connection is obviously someone you've already connected with. A second means I know someone who knows them. A third is that 3 people removed from you. If you don't see the connect button right here, sometimes it's tucked away in this more right down here. The connect will be in that drop down menu that's in there too. I also want to show you from the jobs board, if you put in any of those positions, let's say marketing jobs in Bethlehem, just as an example for a location. If you share anyone right there, so right here, it shows me 24 alum from Lehigh work there. And if I click that link as well, it shows me who those specific people are. So don't forget, LinkedIn is fundamentally a network. And so understanding how to connect with people who worked at places in the currently or in the past is going to be an important part of the job application, even through the job board that's here. So lots of great tools. To get back to your profile, it's right here under the Me and then go to your profile. Right here again, this is how you would want to check that. I also want to show you one last piece right here, Edit Public Profile. This is a really cool tool that lets you customize your URL. You can see mine is just /Andrea Rigger, first and last name, I think is the easiest. If you click the little pencil button, it'll let you type in whatever you'd like to do there. I would encourage you just to use your name, but you're welcome to use whatever you'd like. And if it's already taken, it will tell you not available. So sometimes it's helpful to add a middle initial or a number here if you have a name that already has been snagged by somebody else. And then you can just copy this URL directly, put this in things like your resume, put it in an email signature, share this directly with someone that you'd like to connect with. And I'd love to connect with you too. So if you are watching this video and you'd like to connect on LinkedIn, feel free to put my name in the search bar and you can connect with me right through there. So thanks for watching today.
Okay, so we're going to get started. I'm just going to pull up the screen again. So I apologize that the screen has disappeared very quickly. Okay, so we're going to continue to talk about the settings. Just thinking about as you are going forward in LinkedIn, you do want to set up your settings so that you can set those at a way that's going to work for you. So when you want to do the settings, you're going to go to your profile, and there will be a drop-down menu. And you do want to go to privacy, and just to consider how you want others to see your information. So you can decide if you want to make your profile public so those searching outside of LinkedIn can see it. And you also can choose if you want certain information to be viewable to your first connections, your second and third connections. That is up to you. You can also decide if you are going to add in contact information. So if you are going to put in, say, your email or something of that sort, and you want to share the information with others. Another piece that I just wanted to let you know is that you can also turn off your notifications. So when you are making changes, everyone won't see the information that you're changing and won't send out a notification about that. When you're thinking about building your connections, you want to first consider who you know. So LinkedIn suggests that you have a goal of starting with about 50 connections. So think about your family, your friends, coworkers. Think about those individuals and reach out to those individuals. Even if someone is not in your professional network per se, they may have a number of connections that you can connect to that may be in your industry. And it's great to have connections outside of your industry as well, just to expand your network. LinkedIn also does allow you to export your email connections as well. But one thing to consider is to avoid a generic request. So you want to avoid sending out just a generic connection request. And we're going to talk a little bit more about how to customize your request in a moment. Also, there's a feature on LinkedIn called Find Nearby. So if you are attending a live event and you have LinkedIn on your phone, so through the app, you can actually go to your network and you can turn on this feature called Find Nearby. And individuals who have this feature as well, you'll be able to see if they're in attendance at that particular event. This is helpful if you're trying to connect with particular individuals, and it can also just help you to see who is available at the event and guide your networking as you're going forward. Something else to consider is LinkedIn does provide suggested connections for you. So they will give you suggestions based on your experience, maybe different posts and activity that you're involved in. So consider those in your industry, consider those maybe you've met from professional associations, consider those who maybe you've wanted to connect with, and now this would give you a platform to do so. There's also the alumni feature, which was shared in the video that Andrea had touched on. And the alumni feature allows you to connect with those from your college or university. So try that feature, and you can also use the filter so that you can search by your particular years, or if you want to search by industry, you can do that as well. Another really great feature on LinkedIn to consider is to join groups. So there are a number of groups. You have the option to join up to 100 groups. Some groups can be extremely large, thousands and thousands of people. You can actually see which group you would like using the search bar. You can put in keywords. You'll see the statistics for the group, so how many members are in the group. And one of the wonderful things about being in a LinkedIn group is that it gives you the option to message individuals within that group who are not in your connections. So for example, if you wanted to message someone who is not within your first degree connections, you could send them a message, and you can do that up to 15 times per month, and it doesn't count the back and forth messages. So it's a way to be able to reach out to others who maybe weren't in your network to begin with, but then you have a better chance of forming a relationship through those groups. So I mentioned that you want to avoid sending a generic request. And so when we talk about customizing a connection request, it's really important that you take time to view an individual's profile, learn a little bit about them. And then when you send your connection request, they are very brief, about 300 characters, you want to introduce yourself and also describe the purpose for reaching out. So highlight any existing connections that you have. You want to also, if you've been impressed by their work or some of their recent posts that they've shared, it's great to comment on that and to compliment them. And also to show your appreciation and respecting their time. So if you're just trying to connect with them and you send them this request, it's more likely that they will accept your connection request, although you might not get a message back. Oftentimes individuals don't respond in terms of sending you a message. So if you want beyond this connection to have a conversation, I would suggest, if they accept your request, to thank that individual and then start a conversation. Reach out again and try to continue that relationship. When you are on LinkedIn, there's a lot of different ways that you can continue to engage with others. So as Christine mentioned, you can follow companies and people. There's lots of hashtags you can search as well. And following different companies and people will help you to be the most up to date on the different information within your industry. So you'll often see articles, resources, events maybe that you want to attend, or webinars that are being promoted. You also want to continue to share updates from your own page and any relevant content that you feel would be helpful to others. So either creating your own content or sharing content is a way to raise your visibility and to maintain your connections. It's also important to comment and like the status messages of others. So really taking the time to read over what others are posting. Sometimes it's congratulations are in order, or there's certain accomplishments that others are posting. So you want to take note of that. We mentioned groups before, and participating in groups and being an active member is really going to be of benefit. And also you can learn a lot of great tools and resources and tips by participating in various groups, particularly those that are related to your industry. And the last piece is that you can publish on LinkedIn. So this is a feature that is available to all, and you can't do it from your phone, but you can do it on a tablet or on a computer. And the reason why you might want to consider publishing is helps you to share some in-depth knowledge and expertise with others. So if you put a post just on your from your LinkedIn page, it has some limits imposed in terms of the length. So if you want to share additional information, it's a great idea to publish on LinkedIn and be able to position yourself and share the knowledge you have within your industry. And also, I wanted to point out that building your network takes time. So you want to set aside time to connect, build it into your schedule. It can take just a few minutes a day if you make it part of your regular routine. Another important tip is to acknowledge others' works and accomplishments. So as you notice things that people are posting on LinkedIn, it really is important to take the time to comment, to like that post. Also, if you've worked with someone and had the opportunity to see their work and were impressed, or you've collaborated and it was a success, it's a great opportunity for you to go to that individual's page and to endorse them. So you can endorse any of the skills that they have listed. You can also leave a recommendation for that individual. And by doing this, you're helping to build the relationship, help to increase their visibility. Often others then might also endorse you or leave recommendations for you as well. So it's something to think about as you're going along. You also can publicly thank others if they've done something for your team or they've contributed in some way. And then you want to just continue to learn and grow and share your expertise on LinkedIn. So there's lots of opportunities and events and resources that are shared. So pass those on and also use those for yourself to continue to grow. And as you offer support or thinking about how you can reach out to others, it's also important always to approach networking from that perspective of it's a mutually beneficial relationship. So not just always asking questions necessarily, but also offering support, encouragement, making a virtual introduction when you can. So you may know someone that would be a critical connection for someone else. So take the time to make that introduction happen. So that concludes the presentation piece, and we would love for you to follow us on LinkedIn and Also to follow us on social media, and we have a YouTube channel now as well, so #HireLehigh, and we do want to take any questions that you have as well for the remainder of our time. Tierney, was there any questions that came along that you wanted to share?
I think there were some great questions, and I think they have all been addressed at present. So I think you guys did a great job in getting to those. Marcia just submitted a question. Where on the LinkedIn application can she access the Find Nearby feature, specifically on the phone? And then Allie, I don't know if you may want to stop screen sharing if you're able to, so that you can jump on the big screen.
Okay. Am I still sharing my screen?
Yes.
Okay, hold on one second. I'm so sorry.
Christine, would you mind maybe, while Allie is joining us, address Catherine's question about what type of content you would recommend posting on LinkedIn and how often?
Absolutely. So you want to keep all of your content professional. For instance, our Center for Career and Professional Development just started a YouTube channel. So we've been promoting those on LinkedIn. If you've gone to a conference and you wanted to post something about that, you can put that on there. Always, you just want to keep whatever is professional and available that you want to share with others about that. If you've recently done a blog post and you wanted to share that as well, or if you've collaborated on webinars with a different organization, those are some topics that you'd want to put in there. Maybe once a week, maybe once every other week at this point. What I have found that is during this quarantine time, LinkedIn seems to be much more active than it has in the past. It's always been really active, but now it's bolstering. And I think that's because individuals are trying to build their network and their connections, because we don't have that naturally in a work environment at this point. So if this is a time that, you know, you do find yourself in front of the computer a little bit more, like Allie had mentioned, maybe you could put 10 minutes on your calendar just to make some more connections and look at those. Something I wanted to add too is when you are on Facebook and you get a friend request from somebody and you don't know them, it could be a little weird. LinkedIn is not like that. If you get a request from somebody, it might be because they met you at a conference or they have the same professional background as you, or it might even be that they want to get into a position like yours and they want to talk to you about it. So having the connection with an individual that you don't know is absolutely okay. And you also want to use LinkedIn. Maybe you're thinking about changing positions and maybe you want a promotion, but you don't really know what the promotion would look like in a particular area. Then you could reach out to an individual, you know, even if it's at Lehigh, you could reach out to that individual. You may not know that individual in that particular department that you're looking at. You could reach out to them over LinkedIn and ask them specific questions. What's it like to work in your department? Is there a mentorship program within your department? What's the training like? So that you have a better idea, if you are going to switch positions, you have a very sound understanding of what you would be getting yourself into, for lack of better ways for it. I think that would really help you make those decisions going forward.
Thank you, Christine. Circling back to the Find Nearby, just really quick. Do you want me to add that in still? Okay, so if you go to your phone and you have it on your app, and then if you go to the icon that's for your My Network at the bottom, and you click on that, it'll pull it up where you have 3 options, and one of those options is Find Nearby. So if you click on that, then any individuals who have that feature also, and it's toggled on and they're at the same event, then it would pick it up. So it might not work if you're right now in a remote location, but if you're at an event, you could certainly try that feature.
Christine, you addressed a question that Raquel had, so thank you for that, about accepting requests from companies you may not know. And Brad just asked, is there a LinkedIn feature for suggesting groups? There are so many groups and the discovery feature can seem a little bit weak.
Mhm. Yeah, that's a great question. I would say to start with thinking about what professional associations are related to your industry. So that's one. Usually professional associations have groups on LinkedIn. So that would be a place where you may see some familiar faces and meet some new individuals as well. Also, I would say be selective with your keywords. So when you, in the search bar, try to get as specific as you can. So for example, for myself, if I put in career professionals, it can pull up, a huge amount. If I say career services and higher education, it shrinks the amount even further. So be selective with that. And then also looking at what the group demographics are. So what is the number? So some groups are significantly larger than others. So that'll also give you an idea of which groups are very popular and very active.
Thank you, Allie. So Boaz asked if you see any trends related to messaging rather, inside LinkedIn or moving outside of it. That's a really great question about kind of the place and the space where people communicate once that initial connection is made within LinkedIn.
That's a really great question and something that we always address with our students as well. I think that's important if this is a contact that you aren't really sure too much about, then keep it on LinkedIn. There's no reason for them to have your personal email or anything like that at this point. Yeah, you could just keep it all on LinkedIn and keep the messaging going that way because it'll show up on your screen when you have a message when you go into LinkedIn, so you know that you won't miss it.
Another really great question coming in. Do both of you recommend putting your LinkedIn URL directly on your resume? And would you recommend putting your resume in your LinkedIn summary? That's from Catherine.
So those are two really great questions, Catherine. Thank you. I would absolutely recommend putting your LinkedIn URL on your resume, but specifically if it's customized. So Allie had touched on that. There's a customization area and you want it to be possibly your first name and last name at the end. When you don't have it customized, it's your name with a bunch of letters and numbers, and that looks a little sloppy on your resume, plus it takes up too much space. So once you customize it, it looks beautiful in your header. Plus, that gives an opportunity for you to expand on your experience. Again, your resume is it's just a paper copy or an electronic copy of your experiences, but you can really make your LinkedIn profile come to life with your experiences on there, and you can add so much more. Even if you've done videos, you can integrate those into it. So it really becomes a living, breathing personal brand for yourself. And what was the second part of that? Sorry, Jerry.
No, it's a robust and it's a great question. Would you recommend putting your resume in your summary on LinkedIn?
Yes, absolutely. You can embed that document on there as well. And even when students are working, they'll think, well, what do I put on my LinkedIn? You put the information that's on your resume. That's how you build those bullets. That's why you want to start with very powerful verbs to describe what you did. And you also want to quantify. You want an employer or an individual to look at your experience and say, wow, that's incredible. Not, wow, anybody could have put that on their LinkedIn or their resume. So just be very specific in what you've done. And even as we do our evaluations, and we're supposed to be doing those quarterly, that allows us to put our specifics down and then we don't forget about them because we have so much to offer. And if we don't reflect on them, sometimes they're forgotten.
Really great questions. And Allie and Christine, this has been really just so thorough and accessible for someone that's learning a lot about LinkedIn myself. Definitely want to give the participants more time to ask any questions before we wrap up and use the chat to do so.
So a question that came up was, does Lehigh have an administrative account to LinkedIn, and what does it allow Lehigh doing in terms of recruitment? So that's a question that I can possibly look into. As far as recruitment, that would be more so on the HR level of it as compared to us. In the Career Center, what we use for recruitment is called Handshake, the recruiting platform, and that's where different organizations and even work study positions can be focused. So that's really where we send students primarily to look for internships and jobs. But for recruiting outside of Lehigh, that's something we could look into and further develop.
Oh, Elena just asked a great question. How do you guide those that have a primary job and a side business and represent both of those on LinkedIn?
That's a good question. So you can create, in addition to your personal page, you can create a business page. So you'll notice that lots of companies have pages. So that would be something I would say to look into, perhaps creating a page that's just for business purposes, that you can communicate your message and your brand and really promote that. Sometimes it's helpful when you're starting too. You really want to be able to showcase what your business can do. You want to be able to highlight posts of maybe pictures and put some media out there. So I would say consider having maybe more than one account.
Great advice.
Any other questions? Anybody?
I'm reflecting that maybe in this virtual setting, it was a really good opportunity for people to also be looking at their LinkedIn, maybe on a second screen as you guys were talking and navigating, and we may not have been able to do that if we were in person. So that was a great perk. Susan asks if we can make the PowerPoint available. So what I'm going to do is copy and paste all the participants that are still in the session so that I have all of your contact information. And I think Allie and Christine, would we be able to follow up in sharing the presentation?
Sure. We can certainly do that.
Awesome. So we can follow up and send that, and I'll make sure that I get everyone out of the participants list here so that we can send that information.
Wonderful.
Great.
Well, thank you all for joining us. We appreciate it. We hope that we have at least 30 new connections on LinkedIn. And then you can see who we're connected to and you can expand your network. So thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Yes. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Very great to spend this time with you, and hope that you can now engage in LinkedIn, and maybe we'll see you on there.
Thank you, Allie and Christine.
My
Thanks for your
pleasure.
time, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great rest of your day.